Okay, that's another quick reality check. One thing I've been in the last videos, I've been making a lot of things about like how this program that's run by the government, right? They like to create psyops. Psyops is a way to create a false perceptions of reality. Basically, you see on top of me, you see these people in green. Some of them actually have kids, right? They're my coworkers and people I work with, right? And the way they present themselves, right, is to be like, you see us, we're very well spoken, we're good at what we do, we're logical, rational, progressive, even, right? Because the people who put me in this program are far from that, and the reason why I'm here also has to do with something. Well, the reason why I was put in this program by my employer, my old employer, is because something racial was a factor. But what's in here, they want people from all, like, they need people from all around the world, right? They need people from all races, all like this, white, black. They need brains to continue to develop this technology. But you understand, these people are part of this program that torture even children, and they do this pedophilia type of torture. So when they do the pedophilia type of torture, for me, they're like, oh no, it's you naturally, and whatever. Matter of fact, before I made this video, I was trying to like turn the picture above in green, and I looked at one of my old picture that I changed, I distorted because I wanted to put it on YouTube. It was a father with a little girl, adorable little girl. The stimulation that made me have that moment was crazy. Matter of fact, I'm still forced to have stimulation right now. It's so disgusting. I'm sorry to be graphic, but they're doing something to my testicles that feel pain. Right? It kind of hurts, but it's because they stimulate me so much. Because they want me to look at this baby in a sexual way, in a pedophilia ways, and that's the things they do, and that's the things, and that's why every time I speak now, I don't need speak. I let others say what they've been going through, because it shows the patterns of the pedophilia things they do. They manipulate the libido. They have this sexual arousals, which is meant to break you down. And for me, they have the psyops of like trying to get you to accept what's happening to you. And it's like, no, it's you when you're a kid. You see that picture of a kid in green? They said like around that time, that was you. We matched it to that. When in reality, these people have been doing the pedophilia type of torture. And they use these psyops, which some of them are like childlike individuals, using the repetitive things they say to distort and disorient you. It's like, oh, it's our asshole. You're gonna be raped. You're gonna after they make me experience these things, right? The next door neighbors do these things. It's part of this program, and the tactics are the exact same. They do these things to people, then they manipulate. They try to intimidate you into accepting these things. It's like trying to make you accept these horrible things that they force you to experience, but telling you you're gonna be raped or tortured. It is disgusting. That's what they do. And you don't need to be a genius to figure that out. It's like, oh, every time you force me to have this nasty pedophilia things, you tell me about me being tortured and raped and tormented? Why would you say that now? Because they want you to identify with this. And the psyop is meant to be like, look at us. I'm doing this in my life. I have this. I'm a father. I'm a mother. Some of these people on top are mother, fathers. And they try to be like, oh, you see, like, and then they start going to the disorienting scripts, and sometimes they try to pretend like, oh, we're winning, we're gonna win so bad. Like, this is the government running this. I'm a human experimentation. There's no losing or winning. I'm just gonna endure what the government decides. And they want pain, they want torture, they want stress. This is part of how they develop this technology. Pain comes from the psychological pain, which is the pedophilia things they just did to me. Genitals are still super sore. Not even my testicles, because that's what they do. Then they try to make you accept this way. They try to create this rationales. Oh, try to rational this, make it rational. No, we just match it to you when you're a kid. Remember when you're a kid, you kind of felt like this. You remember you felt like. They try to create these things like that. And then they send these childlike individuals who's supposed to agitate you and disorient you. It's not true. It's you. No, and obviously, even using tonality that's agitating to disorient you. Or try to disorient you by saying something completely different to change your mind. Because they do the pedophilia type of torture. This is done systematically. And they want you to accept these pedophilia things they do to people. Matter of fact, not only they do the pedophilia type of torture, they torture children. These people. They're in a program that torture kids sexually. They can molest people using this technology. And they've done that to kids. You see the testicle pain I'm talking about. A child 3 years old. They've implemented that on a child. This is the same people doing this to me. They try to be like, no, it's different. Where it's our asshole. No, it's the government that is experimenting on human being, money, body, everything. Is you just are an employee here. You're just a bottom tier contractor for this. You sold your soul to this program that torture even babies to try to make me subscribe to these pedophilia things that you've done to many. And they're like, no, we just match it. You were when you were a kid. You see how disorienting they try to make? No, you are making me experience these nasty things. And I'm an adult, man, and you can never tell me, oh, no, you were when you were a kid. It's you when we're just matching to you to a kid. And they're using tonality to try to make you accept when you obviously can see. It's like, I see that you guys do that to almost all target individuals. Almost all. You want me, you who do the pedophilia type of torture, think that it's me when I was a child. I see you do these stimulations, arousals. You want me to be, oh no, you match it to me as a kid. You torture children, 3-year-old torture. You want me to be like, oh no, we're protecting for our kids. I see you guys are a bunch of pedophiles in these agencies that actually run these things. Oh, you want me to be like, no, it's you guys. It's me when I was a kid. And the noise campaign is meant to enforce that logic. You guys are a bunch of pedophiles. These people are pedos for just using these tactics. But I understand, it's bigger than that. I cannot be this stupid. Yes, they do these things as a tactic to break people down for the psychological stress. Because what they do this is based on a human experimentation. What breaks people down? Imagine being stimulated every time you see a child, a toddler, a baby. Is what they do. And they try to say, no, but remember what you did as a kid. It's like a child can do something stupid. And as I'm thinking about it, they even give me stimulations, the same stimulation. So to all my target individual, look at that. Look at the picture of who you were when you were that age. We're not doing anything to you. We don't do that. See for yourself.
And one of them is referring to homosexuals. Down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ass. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use. A people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals.
Can be used to control the muscle movement of the target, causing spasms. They can also inflict pain in any part of the body. This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal or
putting thoughts of pedophiles, like this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. This is somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles, like this disgusting things.
Being tailored pornography. The summary of the Senate torture report disclosed the disgusting revelations that in the secret torture prisons the targets were forced to perform homosexual acts on each other against their will and religion in order not to be beaten or killed. This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds.
Nations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body. and of the people around me, and sometimes numbers and other symbols used to threaten torture. This forces me to open my eyes, even when I'm so sleep deprived. I experience frequently someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly. I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes. It also includes videos of violence and grotesque figures and
been to boot camp, you're a worm until you're part of the team. And why would you want to break down the ego of that person? To rebuild it. So this gets into creating Manchurian candidates, split personality spies, and information couriers, people that will carry messages to other places without being aware that they're actually doing it. So you can imagine the misperception that is caused by this. And a lot of people, the targets when they're interviewed are tricked into believing evil aliens have abducted their brains, demons.
They're tricked.
Yes.
How are they tricked? Pardon this brief interruption, but I want to take a minute to talk about this incredible longevity genes. The downside is as we age, NAD declines. When I found out I could naturally increase my body's activation of sirtuins and naturally activate my...
And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this. And so anyway, my interview with Len, he very well described a typical breakdown script that's used on almost all the TI victims. TI stands for targeted individuals. Some of them are pretty crazy. They have names like Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, and those are the confusion tactics. And when they're breaking down the ego of the human through all the pains and tortures and the verbal breakdown, these are typical CIA torture scripts. I mean, Kubark manual. And they do good cop, bad cop interrogation called Jeff and Mutt, and they go right through the list, right? Just textbook. So whoever the handlers are on the other side of this synthetic telepathy, they're following the handbook perfectly, and they've been trained.
But why Len?
So this kind of stuff doesn't happen.
It's awful. There are some examples that BuzzFeed gives, and like you said, only one actually served any jail time for this. One employee had sexual contact. This is one employee of the CIA had sexual contact with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. He was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. The CIA did not answer detailed questions, saying only that the agency takes all allegations of possible criminal misconduct committed by personnel seriously. So
notice this with the Voice of Skull, it's a bunch of females, and I'm like, bro, really? You're not a woman. What real woman would stalk another female or sit back and allow that to go on? You really think they think it's nothing wrong with them? Basically, they call me a retarded bitch and all of this here, but I was top of my
putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting. disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, this disgusting, disgusting, disgusting things.
Torture. Every day has been a miracle of survival. I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including have very light periods and for only about 3 days on average, because these symptoms of sexual assault were not physiologically normal or possible without external manipulation. It is not physiologically normal to just have repeated spontaneous orgasms all through the night like that, literally one right after another. And then it all made sense when I learned about microwave weapons. In 2015, I began to experience what some call V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as destructive and violent. Her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, "Ow," and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "Ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions that I never use. They repeat certain phrases excessively, as I learned that repetition is a form of torture in and of itself.
Women.
Okay, thank you.
I've passed 2 psychological evaluations, not 1, but 2. The one physician said, "You're mentally sound as a bell." He said, "I don't have any idea what's going on with you." When I go to sleep, when I go to try to sleep, I feel like I'm being lit up like a Christmas tree. I feel every cell in my body just bouncing out of my body. I can't even describe it. I get electric shock of my rectum. I get electric shock up my nose. I've woken up with burns on the end of my tongue. I've had burns on the palms of both of my hands. I vibrate. I can barely hold a piece of paper without quivering. Does that answer your question?
I'm trying to find what's the source of
The source are these exotic weapons. They talk about in 2977, they talk about the space weapons, space-based weapons. Basically, in that document, it talks about exotic weapons. That's what we're talking about. And the fact of the matter is, they did complete that global surveillance network. My cousin worked for the Defense Department. She worked on the global mapping of that system. And when I told her what I was going through, all she could say was, "You're on your own." Well, I've figured that out. If you would please, I urge you to pass this. I realize you can't enforce it, but if you would pass it, it might give other communities the courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women.
Okay, thank you.